Get started with some of the topics we're going to be talking about. As usual, go ahead and save any questions you have to the end, and we'll go ahead and get them answered from there onwards. Alright, so first topic is doctrine readiness. This is corporate doctrine readiness specifically. It also ties into what we've got going with the alliances at the moment. What I want to make sure across the board is folks have fleet responsive ready ships. So for anybody who's relatively new or coming back into the game, all that means effectively really is that you have ships that you can respond in to any threats that we have locally within the area. Be that neutrals, be that any war targets, hostiles, anybody comes in through a wormhole, that sort of stuff. Because the alliance doctrines across the board are specifically geared to be fleet ships as opposed to responsive hunter sorts of ships and that sort of thing. The corporation doctrines are designed to be both, and they're also significantly cheaper than the alliance ones, so it's easier for you to restock them locally than it is to restock a lot of alliance-based doctrines. Now, if you've had a look at some of the notifications in the past, then you'll realize that a lot of the doctrines that I've been having folks stock are the nano doctrine. You can go and take a look at that in corporate fittings. It's relatively inexpensive, it's easy to get into, and they all have a local rep of some kind. Not every single one of them has a point, and the reason for that is because they're designed to be used in groups, so in like 2 or 3 or 4 and that sort of stuff, and everybody kind of orients around one another, and they all have a myriad of different weaponry and drones, e-war between them and all that jazz, so it's all good stuff. Gotta make sure you have, at least 2 of those available for you to utilize. That way you have one that you can use live and one that you can replace things with. They're very inexpensive, between 30 to 50 mil, and you can get that in one site, in in one rat site that you go to, a haven, a sanctum, a rally point or something like that, so it's very easy for you to get into. Try to make sure you have those on hand if you can. Our next topic over here, the second part, is PvP mechanics and training. I'm going to be putting out fleet pings on the regular from here onwards, and that is going to be geared specifically towards everybody just learning basic mechanics. If you already know them, that's fair enough. I'm just going to be doing them across the board so that if you are coming back into the game, or if you are relatively new, you've got the ability to learn, to understand how everything works across the board, general stuff really, and then making sure that's relatively consistent. So I'll be doing that either every day or every 2 days from next week onwards, to make sure that folks get used to that sort of stuff. If it's not going to be me, I'll be encouraging you guys to take out your own fleets on a regular sort of basis when it comes to learning this sort of stuff across the board, and ensuring that you kind of take the training that you've been taught and go out and actually facilitate this sort of stuff across the board. So you're not kind of just waiting either on me or anybody else to bring the content to you, you go out and get it. Moves me on to our third point, which is regular ordinations and salvage. So before the new year ended, I'd put out a couple of projects which were basically based on the corporate stockpile across the board, and this was to do with minerals and salvage, and it's to do with reprocessing rig and all that sort of stuff, and that is currently ongoing. There will be more projects after the 11th which will be fully paid for in the multiple billions, so look forward to those. That's going to be coming out very soon as well. Moves me on to the fourth one, which is the faction war deployment, which we tried to do December, about a month prior. That one got cut off, unfortunately, a little bit due to everybody having IRL because it was coming towards, the end of the year, Christmas happening, family time, overtime for a lot of folks. So we're going to be trying that again this month, and pushing that forward. I'll also be helping with that. There will also be external FCs as well, who are friends of mine, trust friends, they're good folks. They'll be coming along to ensure folks get along with that also, so they will be helping you move from where you currently are, putting jump clones in certain areas, taking out on fleets and all that sort of jazz. And those will be on a 3-day weekend sort of rotation. So they will be on Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays. So look forward to any of them. If anybody here is a prospect FC or kind of has like an interest in being there or has like a little bit of experience, doesn't mind doing it on the side, just reach out to me after this meeting and I'll go ahead and see what we can do to get you started, and take you from there to take out some of those ops. This brings me to our second last point, which is basically propaganda. I want to make sure that the corporation, the place you guys all call home, is seen across the board for everybody in Eve. The more people we are able to reach with the propaganda we put out, be that memes, be that videos, edited pictures like Hakon and Torek put out, or Mick puts out, and that sort of stuff. All of this is good propaganda. The more we are able to create, the more we are able to post in places like Reddit or our own Discord channel or even the Alliance one. It's good propaganda. It's good viewership to everybody around the place, and it shows that we are active more than anything. It also shows, if anything, across the board, that we've got folks who are willing to consistently come in and talk about the organization, what they like about their home, and more importantly, that they want to log in. That really is just the end point, that folks choose to want to log in our corporation and they feel good about it. And to be honest, in my personal opinion, that's the best thing that we can do. Because why wouldn't you want to, right? Then this brings me to our final point, which is feedback and general corporate clarity. So I want to make sure that when we are doing things, whatever that is, be that industry stuff, be that PvP, be that generally teaching you guys any of the stuff that we have, or even the Discord or the corporate infrastructure, any sort of shit we got going on effectively. If you feel that's not clear enough, or there needs to be a better process to be able to disseminate the information for anybody new who's coming in, or maybe we just need to dump shit down, or maybe we need to add more pizzazz to it, or whatever the fuck it is, let us know about that stuff. There is a feedback section within the Discord. It is right at the top of the server underneath the announcements tab over there. The information tab. Call the suggestions box. Go ahead and put anything you have in there. Make it as detailed as you want. Make it as lighthearted as you want. Maybe put in some fucking bullshit if you want to. It's really up to you. Utilize that to help improve us, because we're not going to be able to see any of the things you want us to improve if you don't give us a chance to be like, hey, you can sort this out. This isn't a massive multi-thousand block alliance or anything like that where none of your opinions are going to be valued or you're seen as a number. Like, you're number 5, you're number 125 and all this sorts of bullshit. It's nothing like that. Everyone's treated equally. Make sure we do shit properly, and if things need to be worked a little bit differently, more than happy to take on your opinions. So yeah, that would be about it for the corporate meeting. Any questions?
No questions. I had a DC, or not DC, the computer actually crashed. Faction war comments.
Yeah, man.
We had yesterday was quite busy with people coming in through wormholes.
Mm-hmm.
What's the etiquette for finding out which wormholes we're meant to leave alone and which ones we're meant to roll?
Oh, that's a good question. So it really sort of depends. If you've got Thera connections, for example, or Turner connections, Thera connections are kind of 50-50. You can leave them alone, you can roll them, it really just depends what's going on in the area. So let's say there's an R64 pop a couple jumps away, then yeah, probably a good idea to roll it and get it out of the way. If there's a Turner connection, that one is almost on-site roll. Those two specifically are the only ones that have kind of specific rules about them. Any other sort of connection they get, or let's say you have an extra large connection, right, a VL connect that goes to a low sec system near Minmatar space. Not too much of a bother, because that's just content. That's something you can utilize. If it's a drifter wormhole, for example, that one you kind of leave alone. You scan that down, you bookmark it, of course, put it in the correct bookmarks in the Alliance folder, and then put that into the Alliance Discord for drifter stuff specifically. There is a different thing for that. If you go onto the new Auth and Auth 2.0 and join the Drifter wormholes group, you'll actually be able to see that sort of stuff and input the Drifter wormhole connections through there. That is actually used specifically by FCs, so they want that information. So that one's specific to that. Any other connections that aren't the Turner, Thera, or Drifter connects, usually you don't really bother with them too much unless you've got, say, a hole that's connected to some of the usual groups that frequent and try to fight us, like Odin's Call, Maracuga, and Hole Control, and so on and so forth. Any of those sorts of groups that come up, probably a wise idea to roll the hole or bubble fuck it, or keep some eyes on it and that sort of jazz.
Cool. So I've got to learn a bit more about holes, basically.
A little bit, but it's not. Give it a couple of goes, and you should be fine, mate. Anything from anybody else?
On the ships that you were saying that people need to be ready to help with, like you said that I would find them in the corporate fitting, or are they designated with something specifically that I can search and group them by?
Yeah, of course. So if you go into the corporate fittings at the moment,
Yep.
it's the the icon, right? It's a star with a crescent moon.
Yep.
Cool. So in there, it's the nano fitting. So you type in November Alpha, November Oscar, and you will find a whole bunch of them. They are kitted from Amal all the way to Minmatar, and they are all specifically T2. As I said, some of them have points, some of them don't. They're kind of used in a group sort of setting. If you want to modify some of the fits, it's up to you. It's not really a doctrine-specific thing. It's just something I made so that folks have something they can jump into and fuck off and go out and actually kill things with.
Oh, okay, I'll take a look.
Yeah, those are available. We do have some of our own corporate doctrines, and those ones I'm not too bothered on you stocking as of the moment. The nano ones I kind of want people to actually be able to utilize. There's also a doctrine called the Pack as well. That one isn't finished just yet. I will be finishing that off tonight, and that will be a anti-ESS, anti-kite sort of doctrine. So any of the how do I say this, limp dick noodle motherfuckers who come up here with their fucking 2500 MS, 3200 fucking MS snake fed Vedmak bullshit, that's gonna be dying with that doctrine. So give me a little bit till later tonight, and that one will be finished, and that will be
The
pinged
Nano
out.
are all cruisers, right?
Yeah. All of them are cruisers.
Need to follow them into gates.
Yeah, exactly. Anybody else with any other questions before I wrap this up? Nope. Going once, gone twice. Alrighty. Well, that is basically it, gents. I am going to fuck off for dinner. Feel free to go ahead and drop out of comms as you wish. I'll be back in about 30 minutes to an hour, something like that. Alright?
Cool, Shadow. Thanks, man.
Yeah, man. Alright, I'll catch you guys in a bit. You have a good night.